Welcome everyone. Good afternoon. If I did not hear a response. Assalamu alaikum everyone. There you go. That's much better. If we can ask everyone to please go ahead and take a seat. We will be starting our next session, and we do have some very prolific and smart panelists who will shed light on a topic that is very pertinent to us as a country and as a community as well. So please go ahead and take a seat. My name is Tarin, and I'm the Vice President of Policy and Programming at the Muslim Public Affairs Council, MPAC. And thank you again for joining us today. And this is actually, I'm going to be a little biased, this is my favorite panel, because the topic is something that many of us, those of us who are students of the Middle East, those of us who are students of the MENA region, who've studied it for many years, have been personally invested in the region. This topic is one that has consumed us for many years, but especially this past year. This past year has been a year of major change and shifts in Syria. Late last year, we saw major shifts in the fall of the Assad regime after a decade of war, of authoritarianism, of torture, of just every kind of human rights abuse that you can imagine. We saw the Syrian people finally able to breathe a sigh of relief and with the fall of the Assad regime, actually be able to establish a nation, a governance system that would be representative of the diversity, the cultural history, the richness of Syria. And as many people say, Syria is a bellwether for the region. Syria really points to where the region can potentially head and where it can go. But these past few months have also been extremely dizzying, because there's so much going on in Syria, and not just in Syria, but in the region. And the response of Syria's neighbors, of course, there's the Gulf, there is Israel, there is Egypt, there is so much that is, and then the rest of the states that surround Syria, but so much has happened just in the past few months. So we have a really amazing panel of speakers who will be able to shed light on what has happened in the past few months, and they've been intimately involved, and we'll go into that a little bit, but what's happened in the past few months, but also what this means not only for democracy in the region, for self-governance in the region, for authoritarianism in the region, but also what this means for us as Americans. And I think that's key. We as Americans, I think the reason we gather here and the reason we have these conversations is because we as Americans know that democracy and rule of law is extremely important. It is what's given our communities here, American Muslim communities, Arab American communities, South Asian American communities, it is what's given us the ability to thrive in this country. Rule of law and democracy has given us, again, as minorities, the ability to thrive in this country. And so what happens in that region and the relationship between our government, our communities, and what happens in the region, and specifically Syria, is extremely important and of utmost importance. So I'll quickly introduce, I don't want to go into detail, but quickly introduce our panel. We will give them some opening remarks, and then we'll go into a conversation and a discussion with questions and answers. Our first panelist is Wael Zayat, who is the CEO of Engage USA. Prior to leading Engage. Wael was at the State Department for many years and worked on Syria, and so he brings a level of experience and understanding that'll be really helpful for us to understand. Our second panelist is Mohammed Ghanem, who is policy chief at the Syrian American Council. Mohammed has been back and forth between the U.S. and Syria, and just watching his social media activity has been enlightening. He's been meeting policymakers here. He's been meeting policymakers in Syria, and it's been just great to see the Syrian American community really be able to mobilize and effectively engage both here and in Syria. And then our last panelist is Qutayba Idlibi, who's senior fellow and head of Syria Initiative at the Rafiq Hariri Center and Middle East Programs. And just recently, we found out that he will be joining the Syrian Foreign Ministry, and we're really happy that to have him and have him shed light on what he will potentially be doing and what he has been doing. So we'll go ahead and get started with Wael.